Hope Channel, changing lives.
Hello, my lovely viewer. I am so glad it's another beautiful week, another blessed week, and you are watching Love at Home. Yes, I normally say time has soon. It is time. So if you're a parent, please start calling in your children. Start to call in your husband or wife, or even your friends. That because on Love at Home, we seek to learn and unlearn. This in all to help us shaping our families, prepare ourselves for the soon return of our Savior Jesus Christ. On Love at Home, we learn so many things from families, from raising children, from marriages, from everything. So I always say that when you hear Love at Home, do not leave the dial. Try to invite your friends. I'm also reminding you that you can watch us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and you can send in your contributions through our 0599680066. That is our WhatsApp number. Please do join us on this important program we are going to do. Today is a wonderful program because we are discussing with the teens, and the topic is living with the teens. Parents are saying they no longer know their children. Teens are also saying they no longer know their parents because they say either parties are changing. In some homes, there are chaos. There are so many problems. Today, we want to discuss living with your teens. The JHS people are at home. The SHS people are at home. In all this, we need to find peace in our homes so that we can live happily. On this note, I want to welcome you to Love at Home, and thanks so much for calling your friends to this important program. Let me remind you that on the 31st December 2022, oh, I'm loving the program already. There's a program called Pella Fest. It is a cappella festival, and it is going to be held at the National Theatre. Quality music, I mean quality music. Why don't you join us, you and your family? We have various tickets going for a cool 70 Ghana cedis as a single person. We also have 150 VIP tickets for you, also available for you. The one I love most is when you come with your family. A cool 300 Ghana cedis for a family of 5. This is quality music on the 31st night. Why don't you join us at the National Theatre for this wonderful festival? It's the a cappella night. I love music, and I know you do. So if you are not coming, you'll be a disadvantage to yourself. Please come and let's sing, dance out, and thank God for how far He has brought us. On this note, let's go for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I will introduce you to my guests for today and who they are and what we are going to do. Stay tuned. Remember to call in your friends. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Hope Channel, and of course to your favorite program, Watch These Signs.
As long as you are not in that boundary, He will do all kinds of things to protect you so that you continue to move. There are times some things should have happened which should have crushed you to death. But because of the power of God, to give you extra more time so that you can consider the issues of eternity. From things
on the farm.
Verse 23.
Yes, and that was when the Pharisees came, then he made this statement. And that is the same response people give today. That the Sabbath law says, thou shalt not do this, thou shalt not do this, don't touch this, don't go to market, don't. And so people use this text to tell you that even Jesus,
Thank you so much for staying tuned. We are watching Love at Home. And before we left for break, we were talking about living with the teens. Actually, we are now starting. So you have just joined, you're not too late. Please relax as we discuss this important topic that bothers everybody, because we've all been there and everybody will be there. Today, I have on my far left Dr. Josiah Ando, Bible scholar and a love consultant. Dog, this smell will kill me. Please, how are you?
I'm fine. You?
I'm good, by God's grace. What about your day?
Okay, so I started the day at the far end of town.
Wow.
And I'm here.
That's good.
Yes, so I finished the class and ran here.
Hey, God bless you.
Amen.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
My other guest is Antonia Vonde, an SHS graduate, Kotobabi SDHH. Antonia, how are you?
I'm doing very well by God's grace. Thanks for asking.
That's great. So you've been at home?
Yes, please.
What have you been doing?
I've been helping my mom, sending my little sis to school and taking care of the home.
Is it a huge responsibility?
Not so huge.
Not so huge. Are you enjoying it?
And eating.
Yes, please.
Ah, you need to. That's good. That's good. My other guest is Master Enoch Ecole Agri, SHS graduate, Abeka, SDHH. Master Ecole,
Hello.
how be you?
I'm fine, thank
You are very fine?
Yes, please.
Are you sure?
Yes, please.
How is your day like?
It was awesome.
You are also at home?
Yes, please.
What have you been doing?
So currently, I'm learning how to drive.
Wow.
Yes.
That is great. That is great. I'm enjoying this. You're all welcome. Hey, let me also remind you, you watching me, you are very much welcome on Love at Home. So let's go straight into our discussion for today. Today we are discussing living with the teens. And the question I've been asking myself is, who is a teenager? Dog, let me ask you.
Yes.
Who is a teenager?
Well, let me start by saying the term teenager is, there are debates on its definition.
Okay.
Yeah, but we normally would say the age between childhood and adulthood.
That is very broad.
Yes, that is very broad. So some would put it between age 10 and 19.
Okay.
But the term teenage actually is named after the ages that end, or the numbers that end with teen. Mm-hmm. So so mostly people would say between 13 and 19. So that age ends with the word teen. But when we talk about teenager, we are talking about people in adolescent stage, and it is not necessarily about the ages that end with teen.
Okay.
But it is about you are at a stage where when we are calling children,
you are not
we don't call you. And when we are calling adults,
you are not
we don't call you.
Oh. Yeah.
So that is why the simple definition would be a stage between childhood and adulthood. So it's a transition phase.
Oh, okay. Antonia, do you see yourself as a teenager?
Yes, please.
Why?
Because I'm 18.
Okay, Ako, what about you?
Yes, please.
You are also a teenager.
Yes,
Why?
please.
Are you also 18?
Yes, please.
Ah, okay. That's good. That's good. But let me come to you, Antonia. What is unique about a teenager? What do you think is the unique characteristics about this age group?
Okay. Thanks for the question. The very thing that makes this category unique is the fact that we feel like we are independent, we strive for freedom, and then we are always about our own will. We want to do the things that our hearts desire, and then we don't care how we are going about it, whether you stop us or not. We just want you to follow us and say, okay, you can do this, so go for it. That's what I feel about it.
What about you, Eko?
Okay, as a teenager, personally, considering my actions and then some other factors, personally, what I would say that is unique about me is the fact that I am confident, I am brave, I am resilient, I am able to pick up things, like I am proactive. Yes, please. And then my level of thinking too, I could also use it as a unique factor.
Oh, and your energy level, I guess. You
Yes,
didn't
please.
talk about the energy level. I hear you have so much energy. That is why there's a term called youthful exuberance.
Yes,
And
please.
they exert it so, I mean, in different ways. And sometimes, as parents, we see it goes overboard, right?
Yeah.
But,
So
no.
well, I think, you know, she mentioned something like she's they want to be independent. Now this is the reason. You know, normally when if you should send your child to cross the street, maybe to do something across the street, because you think the person is a child, your eyes will be following because it's a child. If it is an adult, you don't really mind. But how do you deal with somebody in between? Now, so somebody who is a teenager, you know, what I mean, they're expressing, that's the way they feel. They feel like, no, I am no more a child. So you don't treat me like a child. You don't make it look like I am unable to think for myself. You know, so that's how they feel. And that is why they are bringing these as unique characteristics. But perhaps I should add up to it. I mean, what we normally would say about people in this age, because of the transition, one thing is they are striving for identity.
Okay.
Now, the person he feels like he's growing, she feels like she's growing, she's a big girl, he's a big boy, and wants to actually be himself, be herself, not to walk in the shadow of
somebody,
a father or a mother or something. And how they do that is when they are able to find a sense of belonging. That is, people who accept them for who they are. So that once the person is allowed to be himself, to be herself, then the person will be so happy with you. And so, you know, when they were saying, I was listening keenly, and I was actually comparing it with the literature to say that, yes, at that age, the major characteristic we would normally pick out is the strive for identity. They really want to be themselves. And that is one thing that I think we need to note. I'm sure it will come up in the course of
course.
the
But do you think you have some forms of limitations?
Yes, a lot of limitations. First thing is where you are coming from and how you are being brought up. Because school and then the society, when parents are not at home, you tend to find yourself in different categories. Let's say school, for instance, you meet people from different backgrounds. So let's say you being a person who comes from a strict home, you feel like doing something. Okay, you want to be yourself, as Doctor said. So you want to bring that inner thing that is in you outside. But the moment you get home, you feel like you have to shut it down. So such things can cause the limitations too.
Eko, how do you handle this with your parents?
Handling these kind of limitations is a matter of communication. Communication is key in parent-teenage relationship. So personally, the first thing I do in curbing such situations, you pray to God to help you understand the form of condition you are in, and then to help you to be able to curb such situations. Then secondly, as I said, communication is key. You confront your parents concerning such issues, which will help you bring an idea together, and then probably when there's an argument or something, yes, you can come to a consensus.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah, but Doc, you know, in some homes, the teenager would want to be heard. At other times, the parents would also want to be heard. So there's something like power of struggle, struggling for power or authority. And that brings a lot of confusion. How do we handle this?
Okay, so this is why it happens that way. You know, like I said, the person feels like he's no more a child. And the parent still sees that one as a child. In fact, sometimes even we adults, our parents still see us as children, you know.
In Africa, that will still be there.
I'm still my mother's boy, as it were. But then, I'm just talking about a situation where, is it not a call that I had just some few years ago? You know, and today he's telling me this. But he also feels like he is himself, and he's a grown-up. And so that is why when there is that struggle, so he talked about, okay, we should be able to communicate. If you don't have a father who understands that at this age, this is a need, he still thinks that, how can you, a small boy, communicate with me? Why don't you take what I say? You know, so that is where the struggle comes. And that is why parents will say, my boy has changed, my girl has changed. I don't think I know this person any longer. And then the child will be like, my father is so difficult to handle. There are some things that he can't tell you. There are some things that she can't tell you because you just don't understand. You just don't understand me. And so when it happens that way, we are likely to lose them because they will rather be with the people who would understand them and accept them. Accept that they are unique, accept that they are grown up, accept that what this person is doing is good, or you know, we appreciate the person. And then so before you realize, somebody else has won your teenager's confidence over you. And that is where the issue is.
Wow. Antonia, so let me know, when you meet as girls, what do you discuss about parents?
Okay.
What are some of the things you hear your friends talk about?
We often talk about a lot of things, but the most common thing is how our parents treat us.
Okay.
Yes, so as girls like this, we need special care and attention. So I have this friend who is not so close with her dad because of how he treats her. He feels like, okay, you are my daughter and I know what's good for you. She's the last born, okay? And then he always says that he has taken care of her older siblings and then they are not behaving the way she did. So he feels like the others have passed through my hands. Why is it that you can't cope with me? So certain times we talk about how our parents treat us. And then one thing I've also realized is that for me especially, my dad treats at home, we have a different mood or a different temper. We can't really talk, but then outside it works. At church, at school, I can really talk to him. But once I get home, just sometimes to say daddy, it's a problem, not because of anything, but it's difficult to talk to him at home.
Is it that he's so busy?
Or
is the mood you see him?
The mood and then how busy he is.
Okay.
Yes, he has a lot of things on his mind. So if you don't know your need, you can't just go to him at any time to talk. You must really know what you want and how to say it.
So it's like before you talk to him,
you must plan.
You just have to plan what to say.
Okay.
Whereas when you meet your friends, you don't even think.
Yes.
You just talk.
Okay.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
So this man that I'm going to talk to, he's going to ask a lot of questions. He's going to do that. So I have to plan. But if I'm talking to my friend, I am free.
Yeah.
Now, I think, I mean, our goal should be to create a home relationship in which when my daughter is coming to talk to me, she doesn't have to necessarily plan that I'm going to do, hey, daddy, you know, that one alone is a put off.
Yes.
And the person is like, hey, you know, the response I'm going to get and all that. So she would have to plan. But if she's talking to her friends, she flows and all that. Yeah. But I think she's bringing another dimension. Maybe you may want to, where when the same father, but at home, we step out, and I'm able to flow. Yeah. But when we get home, the mood is different. It's different. There must be something that is happening, that is making it to happen that way. Yeah. Well, but maybe we are not dissecting only that because we are talking about teens in general. Yeah. And what our parents should note is that our teens, by that age, we have already done, we have already created the kind of relationship that we have to create with them. And these are normally done in the early ages. You know, in the early ages, if you were having that kind of, you know, relationship with that kind of bond with them, it's likely to flow into the teenage years because they know that, oh, I can flow with daddy, I can flow with mommy. But if, for example, during the very early ages, I don't see daddy at home. I see daddy early morning, he's rushing to go, you know, and then he comes back home late when I'm sleeping and all that. There is no such relationship. Weekends, on Sabbath in church, you know, he's busy meeting here and there. By the time he gets home, he's tired. Even his wife, he doesn't have time for. How much more me? So by the time I am 10, 11, 12, 13, I know that it is difficult to have a time with daddy. Okay. And that already registers in my mind. Therefore, I will not, for example, tell daddy about my menac, I mean the first menses. Most girls do not tell their parents about it. The first person to know is probably a friend. I don't know if Eko would go and tell that.
I was coming to Eko, so no, hold on. Okay. As guys, when you meet, what do you say about us?
Okay, a basic conversation between boys mostly does not involve parents, but then. Yes, please. But then when it comes to the point where we discuss about parents, sometimes we actually like to talk about our parents' attitude towards us. And then
share some with us.
Okay, so I have an experience from junior high. Okay. There was this friend whose dad was very strict, like, learn, do this, do that. Like, he wanted him to do what his father wanted him to do what he wanted. But he didn't take into consideration the view of the son. So there was this friend's father who was very close to us. He also brought this up, and then he confronted this friend's father, and then he gave him some ways and directives to help bring peace and then improve communication between the father and the son. Yeah. Which currently I can say from this that they have a very cordial relationship.
So it helped?
Yes, it helped very much. As I said, communication. Yeah. And then sometimes too, it does not only involve the communication or the effort of the teen and the parents. It sometimes also involves the external help.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. So he's mentioning something, but my mind comes to a point where as parents we have something like a checklist. You see that parents say, when you wake up, do that. Have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done that? Have you done? What is the impact on these teenagers when we do that as parents?
Okay, thank you. So the question is about, okay, so for example, my daughter, I have a 7-year-old, and she knows that when she wakes up, she has to pray, go brush her teeth, you know, that kind of checklist. Now, at that age, you can actually give them a checklist. This is what you have to do this, do that, do that, do that. But the moment the person gets into the teenage, he wants to be himself. She wants to be herself. These people want to do things on their own, not because daddy says I should do it. Now, if we continue to do that, now what we are doing is we are making them to be far away from, because you are actually doing something that a teenager detests. A teenager detests to be dictated to. He wants to be accepted for who he is. So what happens is he may do it. Whatever you've said I should do, he will do it. And thinking about it, okay, I have to do this to satisfy daddy. But beyond that, he will be a different person. Now, the other side is that you actually turn this child to be a robot, to put it in that way, because you are not making him to think for himself. And we are creating these kind of people in society. Now, they come to school. I handle students who have just come out of teenage, and they feel like they're in the university, they are grown and all that. They come to school and then you see tendencies of this kind of home in them, even in the way they answer exam questions. They are checklist people. You give an assignment and students would want you to tell them, how to answer it. No, I want you to think for yourself.
Yes.
That is how I want it to be done at the university level, because at that level, you are an adult. But the person is just coming out from adolescence, and the person has been programmed to be told exactly what to do. Now, some people even do not outgrow it, even at the university.
Okay.
They continue even into their job. Mm-hmm. And so you have somebody you are working with, and you literally have to give the person a checklist of what to do. Whereas, the person knows, she knows that, okay, I am supposed to be this person, I'm supposed to provide this result. But these people, if they were not given the room to think, to become analytical on their own, they get into the job market and they become robots. They want the boss to tell them, do this, that. And that is a problem that sometimes parents create into society, and it affects all of us.
Wow. My lovely viewer, I hope you are taking some notes here. I am taking mine. So if you've not started, I think you should. Antonia,
yes,
do you go through some peer pressure influence?
Yes, please.
How?
Okay, so at this stage, what the teenagers of this generation are pursuing most is money, fame.
Did you say
yes,
money?
Yes, money.
At this age?
At this age, yes, please.
Okay.
The reason I'm saying this is because we feel like we have so many things to cater for in terms of clothes we prefer to wear, the food we want to eat, places we want to go that our parents won't allow us. So we have to find money to cater for those needs. So that's why I say money. Then in terms of fame, looking at our friends or the social classes which we have in society, at school and then various places, you will see that these people have this kind of, when they meet, they have this special vibes between them, how they dress, how they walk. Should even tell you that, okay, I would like to belong here. But we don't know what is really into that. So it's like, it gives you this kind of pressure. Why don't I try? Why don't I try? And then the next thing I've realized is we are looking for love outside home, in a sense that people don't find that attachment with their parents. They feel disconnected most of the times, and then especially with older siblings too. So we find those outside more interesting than those at home. So most of the times we find ourselves in relationships that do not help us, especially of the opposite sex. Yes, because you find someone who, when you say this, the person like, oh, okay, I understand. Even when the person doesn't understand, the person finds a way to say, okay, I understand you, for you to feel okay.
Okay.
Yes, but you have been deceived in another way too. Yes. So all these things it gives too much tension and then pressure within you. But how to release that once it becomes a problem? So you have pressure even within you.
Yes.
Yes, and then from peers too as well.
These pressures,
yes,
Antonio is talking about, how do you release them?
Okay, so I'm also going to talk about some of the pressures that I have been.
Okay, all right.
It's mostly going to be negative. Okay, so as she said, the eagerness for money. There could be an instance where we as teenagers, we are eager for money. So we indulge in some acts that we don't have to indulge in. Like gambling.
Okay.
Yes, that's one point. And then also, another form of pressure that mostly, and I with my eyes have seen the boys in our teenage go through is the abuse of drugs. In my days in school, there were some boys who you might see and you be like, this person is very innocent, but you went here, this person is into this, is into that, and then it has destroyed his form of life in school.
Wow. Doc, how must we handle these pressures they are talking about? Now, you see, he mentioned gambling,
drugs.
There's this soccer bets.
Yeah. Hey. So betting generally. Well, but before I say that, I'll be talking about how we should handle it, but I just want to chip in something. You see, the things that they are talking about is because of this sense of belonging.
Okay.
So let me explain. Now, I have a group of friends, and these friends, Yama is holding an iPhone. This one is holding this one, and I'm holding a Yam. How do I connect with these people? Mm-hmm. You know, there is this sense of I want to belong. I want to belong. I want to have that kind of acceptance, that kind of identity. So how do I get it done? Then I need money to buy that phone. And that is why, and you know, this particular generation, the teenage, which wasn't there previously, they are fascinated with images. Images, I mean, picture. And so it is the gadget that gives the best picture. That is what they want. So if you go on Snapchat, that is where they are. It has filters that will filter oh, you are smiling because I know. All right. No, that will filter the image.
Yes.
You know, look, let the person go to a place where there's an elevator. He will snap. And streak the friends. Let them go to, you know, a very nice pool. They will snap and streak their friends. Reason, so that they will also feel that sense of me too, I am there. And that is where the problem is. So if I do not get that from my parents, then a friend tells me, oh, you can get it from this source, then I go.
The social media.
And that is why most of them are engaging in gambling. The males, for example. That is why most women will be engaged in sexual relationships with other men, and of course, in this case, most of the time, men who can provide those needs. And that is where the problem is. So I think this is good education for us, that yes, our young people, they have a lot of pressures. Now, but she also talked about an internal pressure, which I think we left out earlier. That while growing, around this age, the sexual organs begin to grow. They begin to get, and so there is a very high libido on the side of the teenager. And if it is not guided, well, the libido is because they have so much energy, and it is where you invest the energy that you are able. So you realize that because of things that they are mostly exposed to, they are very, very sexual. So if it is not properly guided, that is when they become sexually active and they destroy their lives.
Wow. My lovely viewer, we want to go for a quick commercial break. And when we come back, you continue the discussion. You'll be marveled. But I want to remind you that you can call in after break. We will take in some few calls to know what you want to tell us or to share your ideas with us. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Nitaenda.
Eu irei.
我願去，我願去。
I will go.
Ich will gehen.
I will go.
אני אלך.
I will go. I will go. I will go.
I will go.
J'irai. I will go. Reach my world. Won't you?
Dear, you are welcome. We are still watching Love at Home and we are discussing living with your teens. Yes, it has been a wonderful discussion and we are still discussing it. If you are just joined in, you are not too late. It can still continue. And before we left for break, Doc was telling us some of the peer pressures, the internal and external pressures our teenagers normally go through. I want to remind you that you can call into the program on 0559 680066. 0559 680066, or you can send in your WhatsApp messages through that same number and we will take them. Thank you so much. So let's continue with our discussion. Eko, what do you think is your responsibility as a teenager to yourself, to your parents?
To myself, my responsibility as a teenager is to be able to achieve the dream I have set or the target I have set for myself in future. And to my parents, firstly, as said in the Bible, honor your parents, honor your father and your mother, for you may live long. Yes, please. So that is also one of the responsibilities that I have to honor in order to help promote teen-parent relationship. Also, probably the parents might need you to do something for them, and then sometimes we as teens, we feel like we are grown. Someone will be like, look at me, like, I'm grown for this. Someone's mother will be like, oh, AC, come and let me send you here, go and buy some. You'll be like, oh, I'm grown to do this, I'm too grown to do all these kind of things. Like, we should just try and avoid them.
Okay.
And then we should help our parents in most of their endeavors and then whatever they need. So that if we also need something from them, they can be able to help us because they strive very well to help us.
Well, that's wonderful. Yes, my dear. Yeah, the same thing.
Okay.
Your responsibility?
My responsibility towards myself, as a teenager, we are not going to remain at that stage. We will grow, yes. And then while growing, you have to make progress. And so you have to set certain plans and targets, and you have to make sure that you don't break that focus so that you'll be able to achieve whatsoever it is you want to. And then the responsibilities towards parents, I feel like we should be appreciative of the least things they do, because we know that we all have different parents and then they all have different capacities. What a rich man can do for his daughter is not the same thing a poor man can also do. And so in their least or maximum capacities, we have to be appreciative. We don't have to feel shy about them. We must talk to them, tell others about them. That's what I want to say.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Dog.
Yes.
What do you think generally should be their responsibility?
Okay, yeah. If I'm talking to teenagers, I think I will let them know that no parent hates the child. In fact, they love you, except that it is difficult for the parent to understand your world. And that is normal, it's understandable, but look, during his time, things were different. And at your time, things are different. And so for a young person, for a teenager, you just have to keep this in mind. And then you'll be able to properly understand your parents. Keep in mind that my parent is, not that he hates me, he loves me, she loves me, but they simply don't understand me and my age, because theirs is different.
Yeah, so Doc, I want to know, since the teenage is a period of transition to adulthood, how should parents go about this whole thing? I mean, or how should the teenager, gradually put him or herself into it so that everything will go on well for him?
Okay, thank you for this. Let me say, at the early stages, you are a commander. You command, and then they do. But the moment they get to the teenage, I think I will ask every parent to transition from commander to counselor. Now, by counselor, I mean, the counselor doesn't tell you what to do. The counselor guides you to make an informed decision. And that is actually the transition most parents are unable to do. At best, what parents would do would be to move from commander to coach. It's difficult to move to the counselor stage because you still feel like the person is a child. Yeah. But the moment your child begins to cross 11, 12, 13, you should start moving toward becoming a counselor, so that you are actually preparing the person for adulthood. Okay. Because you are not going to be there all the time. So, for example, there are certain initiatives you want the child, the teenager to take. So you just have to try to guide him using his or her own ways of thinking and doing to understand it, so that he will do what you want him to do, but do it his way.
Hello, my lovely listener, viewer. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. Your name and where you are calling from, please.
Good evening. My name is Isaac. I'm calling from Tampa in the Bodo region.
Good evening. You're welcome, sir. Let's hear you, please.
Oh, okay. I just joined the program and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. And I really thank your guest for the program.
Thank you.
What I want to say is very brief. Sometimes the parents they have, it also depends on what they really understand us from. For instance, my parents are not educated. When it comes to certain things, they have to understand you. So, for instance, back at home, as you were discussing earlier, there are some issues you feel like, yes, I wish by now I could have my children to talk about some of them. Even just their posture, their facial expression just tells you. So you don't even need them and talk. So as you were saying, just like you only need something, you go to them. But one thing I also know as I came out of my adolescence, when we get to this thing, the best people we should have befriended are our parents, because they were once like us. So that we are the best people to guide and coach them in whatever we are doing. So we can talk to them, but it's the other way around. We rather take things into our own hands, make our own decisions, and sometimes our feelings to be influenced. We take ideas from them, and at the end of the day, we become disappointed in them and not blame them for their negligence. So that's what I want to ask. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much for calling in. Thank you very much. I think it's a good recommendation he's giving to us. But he mentioned the aspect of education. If a parent, so it means parents should be learning every day.
Oh, yes.
To abreast themselves with the current trends and to be able to take their wards or their children alongside, so that it will not be difficult to move their children along. Pastor, I have a question here. Please, is it good as a father to shout at your kids whenever they do something when the dad thinks it is not good? For example, sit down, keep quiet, stop it, or it should be in a calm way rather than a harsh way?
All right, it depends. I would say it depends because sometimes this sit down, do this and all that is not rational. It is emotional. So the person is doing something and all of a sudden, you burst out. So it is not something that you even think about. But the more we do that to our kids, and the question was about kids, what we do is that we are actually implanting in them a form of timidity and a form of, so we are actually creating a wall between us and them. We are not, and so for a parent, if you do that, let's assume that, yes, out of the emotions you do that, it would be better you move a step further, come down to the child's level, and explain to the child that the reason for which you made me angry, you made me shout at you, I don't like to shout at you, is this and that and that and that. But sometimes the shouting is very irrational, it is emotional, and it's difficult for us to say outright that never shout.
Okay, so what if I have a deviant child? Hold on, let me take a call. Hello? Hello, my lovely listener viewer.
Yeah, hello,
Good
evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, please, I'm calling from Rota region.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, the program is very good and is good for us as a teenager to learn from this.
Thank you.
And I may say that the parents should take their children or their walls as a friend, so that things that the walls may try to hide from them, they should tell them. Okay, that's my advice to
Thank
the
you very
parents.
much for calling. Thank you. Your advice is well noted. Thank you very much. Pastor, any comment to that?
Yes, I mean, he's touched on a very key thing, relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something that I said earlier. These people want to feel belonging. So when they don't feel it, they will look for it outside. And so parents taking their kids as their friends. So that, I mean, if your son finds a girlfriend, he should be able to say, Daddy, I saw some girl today, and all that.
I had a crush
Yeah.
on somebody.
So, and the question is, how is the daddy going to react? Now that they would be planning to tell you what to tell you, even when it is something that maybe will make you happy. How about that? Hey, individual school fees, with all the school fees that I'm paying, hey, you are looking at girls and all that. Yeah. But if we have that kind of, he can easily tell a friend, hey, Charlie, I've seen some girl who she's nice and all that. Can he tell his father?
Use the right. They say, yeah, I have a crush.
Okay, I have a crush.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm crushing on.
Yes.
So they can tell their friends, but they can't tell their parents.
Okay.
What is the reason? There is no relationship. So it is important to build that kind of relationship with our teens.
Echo, what do you think are the boundaries that parents should have with their teenagers? Boundaries regards to your feelings and independence with parents.
With regards to the feelings, I think our parents should take into consideration how we feel at most times, and then try to work on them, because sometimes, most parents, or generally parents, like to help their wards feel good at most times, but then some decisions are there which, when made, make the world feel like this decision will not help me.
Okay.
So, but generally we all know that this decision will help the world. Oh. So our parents should bring it to light, or make our teenage boys and girls understand that some of these decisions that are made are not necessarily going to affect you negatively, but it's just for the good and the better of you.
Hello, my lovely listener viewer. Good evening.
Hello.
This is Love at Home.
Please, I'm fine. Please, good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Okay, thank you. Please, my name is Rose. I'm calling from Cape Coast.
Thank you for calling in, madam.
You're welcome. I just want to contribute to the discussion.
Please do.
Okay. First of all, well done to you and your panel members. It's a nice topic you are discussing. I've already loved it. I wish it can be discussed more often. this is what I want to say to our parents. I'm speaking on behalf of the team.
Okay.
I'm taking myself as the team. The parents should try and be friends to their children, especially the teenagers. When they are friends with them, the children will be able to share their problems, their experiences, everything they want to share with other friends. The children will be able to share with their parents. That is where the parents are friends to them. And also, the parents should share their life experience with the children. Not always that the parents should be giving instructions, do this, don't do that, do that. But sometimes when you are a friend with the children, you are able to share your life experience, your past experience. The children are able to take something from it. So whenever they are taking a step, they remember what the mother or the father has told them, and they are very cautious about that. Both your negative experience and your positive experience, sometimes it helps the teen and prevents them from indulging in any life practices, because yours will serve them as a guide. So it will prevent them from venturing into it. And the last thing I want to add to is that parents should not compare their children with others. Some of the parents, when they see other children maybe doing well in life ahead of their children, then they start comparing their children with them. And they will be making comments like, look at this my neighbor's daughter. Look at my neighbor's son. He's working. He came back from Accra. He came back from Kumasi, and he's living a good life. And you are here. You have to also go out and do something. So when all these things happen, it puts pressure on this teenage, and they begin to look for any ways and means to make you, the mother or the father, happy, to make you proud, because that is what you are looking for. So this is what I want to say to our parents.
Thank you very much, Madam Rose. Thank you very much.
We should accept our parents, the situation they are in. Sometimes we begin to compare our parents with other parents of our friends. Then when this thing happens, we realize that our parents are not able to give us what we are expecting. So we begin to follow friends to get what we want. But if we accept the condition of our parents and we hope and move with them, we live with them, even the little that the parents will be able to give it to us, we accept it and pray and hope that things will be better in the future. We will be able to follow friends and be influenced by this peer pressure we are talking about.
Thank you very much, Madam Rose. Thank you very much.
We shouldn't look at friends, but we should look back where we are coming from, the parents, the lifestyle, the condition, then we take a decision. This is what the letter I want to say to our teens. Thank you very much.
We appreciate this message. Thank you very much for the advice, Madam Rose. Now, let's take some messages from our WhatsApp page. Hello, good evening, Hope TV. My contribution to the program is that parents should encourage the teenagers to reduce the time they spend on social media and phones. A lot can be achieved in future through the prudent use of our youthful years, and many great opportunities could also be lost in this crucial stage. Let Christ live in fullness in our lives. This is from Jennifer Konedu from Accra. Jennifer, thank you very much, madam. Good evening. Thanks for the lovely program. As a teenager, we have a lot of challenges. How do we deal with it? I have friends who always make fun of me, not that I fear girls, or because I don't have a girlfriend. Wow, sorry, my dear. Dog will take us through that. Madam, I'm a person who likes learning, but whenever I try to do it in the presence of my dad, he will be like, stop it, you can't do it. With this, what should I do? So,
well.
This is from KG, Kwame Danso. From Kwame Danso.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It says when he's learning, the father is saying, stop
discourage
it.
Him.
Discourage
him, making him feel like he can't do it. I think the number one fan cheerleader should be the parent. So that even if the child is unable to do it, the parent should be able to say, look, I have confidence in you. It is possible. And that positive affirmation alone can even help the person feel like, you are somebody I can relate with. Now, this one would create a form of estrangement between this person and the parent, because you don't really encourage the person. You know, there's somebody who alluded to some kind of pressure. Now, if this person is not godly enough or doesn't have parents who would hold him close, he would go get a girl and do what the friends are doing, because that is the only way he will feel a sense of belonging, because, oh, all my friends are having it and I need to also have it as well. So this is a good reason for us to draw close to our teenagers and try to help them to feel like we also value them and we believe in their independence and identity.
Wow. Doc, let's look at the issue of uneducated parents. This is from Isaac from Kumasi. On the issue of uneducated parents as against today's educated children. How do we manage it?
Well, I mean, if I am an uneducated parent, I hold certain views that my educated child may hold something contrary. I believe that there should be a point of convergence where, I mean, if I have gone to school and I have an uneducated parent and I'm a teenager, I would have to help my parent to understand me. Otherwise, if we all live in our worlds, we will not be able to. So the most important thing is we come into a convergence. So if I'm an uneducated person, I should try to get, to meet my child or my son or daughter at a point somewhere in the middle. And I believe by that we should be able to.
Doc, please use a few minutes to wrap up for me.
Okay. Wrapping up, what do I say? Let me say that parenting is about relationship.
Especially at the teenage.
Especially at the teenage. And the truth is that we start building that relationship at the early ages. If you have teenagers now and you still haven't built that relationship, you may want to start today. And I would say that start from technology, because the people who are teenagers today are actually in a generation where technology is the thing. And so I will advise our parents to get close to technology.
Wow. Antonia,
yes, please.
Your last message for your colleagues and to parents.
Okay, to my fellow teenagers, I would like to say that times are changing. Yes, so we have to make the most of our time. And then the problems of today will be the same as the problems of tomorrow. We just have to make it up to ourselves not to stay in that situation, but try to come out of it. And then to my lovely parents, I would like to tell them to always think positive. They should be positive because they normally fear the unknown. They fear we might get into some kind of trouble we might not be able to come out of, or we will regret someday in the future. But it will be best they talk to us and not threaten us.
Wow. Echo, your message to your colleagues and to parents.
To my fellow teenage boys and girls, we all know that at the teen stage, they'd like to be independent. But I'd like us to know that in as much as possible that we want to be independent, we should also take into consideration the effects of being independent. Probably, let's take it for financial issues and stuff. At the teenage, there's no form of income or source of money which can help you to put up with yourself. And then to our fellow parents too, I also like them to also tolerate the views of our youth, because tolerance now is the problem with
both parents and
the teenagers. So I'd like them to tolerate the views of our youth and then also educate us and then tell us what they also feel about the way we will keep up with ourselves and then grow up.
All too soon, my time is up. I wish the program is not ending now, so that we could go on and discuss and discuss and discuss. I told you it's going to be a wonderful night or a wonderful evening. We discussed living with the teens. We heard what the teenagers said, and we heard what our consultant also said. parents have lots of responsibilities to do on our teenagers as well as our teenagers themselves. We shouldn't entertain fears. Let's give them the space to operate whilst we guide them as counselors. We shouldn't be coaches or whatever, or what have you. I mean, by so doing, we are cooking everything for them and we are not helping them in any way. Let's believe in them that they can do it whilst we pray and support them as parents. On this note, let me quickly remind you that Pella Fest is on the 31st December 2022 at the National Theatre. It's a night of music, a cappella music. I love music, and I know you do. So why don't you join us on 31st at the National Theatre? This VIP ticket is going for a cool 150 Ghana cedis. Please grab it now before you lose it. We also have the regular ticket, 70 Ghana cedis. 70 Ghana cedis. You will enjoy quality music. This is what I love most. The family one, family for 5, 300 Ghana cedis. Quality music. It is happening live at the National Theatre on 31st December 2022. On this note, let me thank my guest, Dr. Josiah Andor, the love consultant. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
You've given us so much, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Miss Vondi, thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Agri, or Master Agri.
Hello.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you all.
Thank
and
you.
to you, my lovely viewer, God bless you for staying tuned. Same time next week, you'll be on your airways. This is Love at Home. Practice love and let us be safe. Bye-bye.